The Big Brother 26 feeds are going strong. I'm going to try and talk about as much as I can from all that I've seen since the feeds came on late last night. I'm not going to have the usual time to edit this video and put in, some funny edits or some of me not stumbling over my words or names. So if I stumble over names, well, the season just started and I don't actually know everyone's name pretty well yet. I'm terrible with names as it is. But so far, the cast overall is giving. I'm enjoying them all very much. I will even have something positive to say about Quinn after I complained about Quinn in my last video. So let's get to it because there is a lot to talk about and I don't have that much time. We must start with Angela, who is the first HOH of the season. And I love Angela more than I thought I would. I'm not saying that I thought I was going to dislike Angela, not by any means. But I did not expect to like her as much as I do. I think her being such a big fan and her applying for over a decade to try and get on the show it makes her likable, of course. She's also talking to the cams a lot, so we get to see quite the insight into her game and what she's thinking. She's thinking a lot, most good, some bad. I would say the biggest bad is that she's trying to create a big old 9-person alliance, which never works out. But I'm not going to get too much into the alliances yet because, as we've seen since Big Brother 23, since we've gotten night one feeds, although this year is not night one, but, there was a long stretch where we did not get feeds until a week into the game and we had to figure everything out. But since we've been seeing week one feeds, we've seen a lot of how there's just a bunch of different alliances and it takes a while to see where everyone actually falls. So that's kind of happening again. There's a lot of different alliances starting in these first 3.5 going on 4 days of the game. And Angela's big 9-person alliance, or the alliance she wants, is one of those. She wants to make this alliance with herself, Cam, Cedric, Rubina, Joseph, Quinn, Chelsea, Leah, and Brooklyn. There's been a lot of changing, though. At one point, it was supposed to be Tucker instead of Quinn, but Tucker got on Angela's bad side because of some of her targets. It's Matt who's been doing a lot of the talking. I guess I have to explain before getting into Angela's targets the twist of AI. It seems there will now be 3 nominations. And the way I understand it, and I could be wrong because I've been trying to figure this out as watching the feeds and trying to see other people's speculations on Twitter, is that Angela has to make 3 nominations. They will then play for veto, and Angela might have to make a replacement nom. But then there is an AI twist and some sort of competition where the 3 people who are left on the block on eviction night will play in that competition. The winner of that competition is safe. The other 2 left on the block, obviously not safe, and that's who the people have to vote out. I don't hate the twist. It's a Battle of the Block-esque. And it's, just 3 nominations instead of 2. The possibility of being 4 overall for the HOH, which is kind of a lot of blood on the HOH's hand. I also thought I heard that Angela can't play in the competition, so I guess the HOHs can't play in the comp, and so 3 people will be picked at random. But that's the speculation on my part. I don't know if that's actually true. So yeah, Angela going into this HOH has to make 3 nominations. And it seems like her biggest gripe going into last night was Kenny, old Kenny, the undercover cop, not looking so hot. He does seem pretty isolated from most people outside of Matt, honestly. And Matt, not the person you want on your side. Yeah, the person I was the most wrong about in my cast assessment was Matt, because I thought he would come into this and be a good social player. And honestly, I don't think he's a bad social player. Matt clearly, from what I've found out about his game over the past 2 days that we didn't have feeds, he has been able to make a lot of connections. He has people wanting to make final threes with him, final twos with him. So I wasn't completely wrong that he's going to be able to make social connections and have a good social game. The problem is that Matt has gone around telling anyone that will listen about who has made a final two with him, who has made a final three with him. Um, Very sloppy, to say the least. You know, Matt said in the episode that he wants to prove that he's more than just a pretty face, but I guess he's just a pretty face. And that's questionable too, because the dude has crazy eyes. I talked a lot of shit about Lisa coming into the season with crazy eyes. Matt has her beat. Matt's paranoia, when those eyes come out with him, when he's paranoid, yeah, it's a lot to look at. And Angela has clocked that already, the way he talks to people with his crazy eyes. So I think that is why Angela is targeting Kenny, because she sees a connection between Kenny and Matt, and a connection between Kenny and Tucker. And I think that's why she took Tucker out of her big alliance. And to be fair, Angela is calling it a group, not an alliance, because I do think as a super fan, she knows this whole plan to have a big alliance is not the smartest thing, because they don't last very long. But in the first week, maybe you need votes to get the people you want out of the game. I do like that Angela is not targeting Cedric and Chelsea, who had the downgrade and can't play in veto this week, can't vote. I think I think as a group they see it as unfair putting them on the block in this first week, even though that would be the easy way out. But Angela wants to give us better TV than that, and I certainly respect that. There is also the budding showmance between Matt and Mackenzie. At least that's what the house is speculating. And those two have spent a ton of time together, even talking to each other in the wee hours of the morning, alone in bed. And I'm pretty sure the only other person sleeping in that room with them was Kenny. So I guess they could get away with talking just to each other into the morning. But they are already being seen as at least a possible duo, if not a full-on showmance. Mackenzie's been going around talking a lot of shit about Angela for being one of the older players. I think Mackenzie has come across, at least to me, as having a problem with the older players and anyone that's close to Angela. The bad part about that for Mackenzie, of course, is she's going around talking a lot of shit about Angela when Angela is the HOH. And that is already getting back to Angela, thanks to Chelsea and Joseph. I feel as though Chelsea and Joseph are definitely two of the closest people to Angela right now as the HOH. I would say also Brooklyn, they have the whole "we're moms" connection. Still don't know how I feel about Brooklyn. I'm trying to give her a chance despite being Aaron from Big Brother 15's BFF. So far, I still don't like her. I would say she is still one of my least favorite people on the cast. In a cast that I am enjoying so far on the feeds very much, but I don't feel that great about Brooklyn yet. But Angela and her do seem to be close. Now, when Chelsea came to Angela today to tell her about Mackenzie going around and basically growing Angela's target as HOH, saying that Angela reminds her of a past winner and that Angela's going to basically be tough to beat in this game, and Matt's, of course, going along with Mackenzie as well. But I think Chelsea going to Angela with that information kind of gave Angela the sense that her gut has been right. And I always find it fascinating on these games when you could kind of feel when certain people are targeting you, if not when everyone's targeting you, but when certain people are targeting you, you can feel it. And I do think Angela was feeling it, although it's hard to distinguish a lot of times what is your gut feeling that is accurate and what is just your paranoia that's driving you crazy. And as we saw last season with the HOH TV with Suri, that TV can drive you crazy. And I think Angela was kind of driving herself crazy with that TV last night. A lot of that was, of course, that Matt was stuck talking to Tucker for a while, to Leah, to Mackenzie, all in the pantry, and um, for hours, basically. Like, how's that not suspicious, Matt? Matt's playing such a sloppy game. But I'm glad to see Angela clocking that, although some of it was paranoia, but she was also kind of accurate. But now Chelsea going to Angela with that information about Mackenzie does give Angela the evidence to make her see that she was right. She also had a conversation with Kenny today before nominations where Kenny was trying to not only save his own ass, but talking up Matt as well. And Angela was clocking that as well. So I think Angela's doing a great job as HOH. It's hard to not be paranoid as HOH, especially when you have that camera. But I think Angela is off to a good start in having a read for what is going on. Her real right hand man, however, does seem to be Joseph. And I feel like she puts a lot of weight into Joseph's words already. Uh, Joseph came to talk to Angela along when Chelsea was talking to Angela about Mackenzie. And Joseph wanted, or at least was pitching the idea that, hey, Angela can just put up Kenny, MJ, which is what Mackenzie's going by, and Matt's all up on the block right now, get one of them out, or at least put up Mackenzie on the block, because why not? That if Mackenzie's coming after her, put her up. But I think Angela was kind of right in the sense that if she just put up MJ, aka Mackenzie, then Matt would try really hard for veto if he's in it and win the veto for her. But there was that thing that she can just put up all three. She didn't go that route, however. She is still making her main target Kenny, and I think that I don't hate that from Angela. Although if you see this showman's forming, I think that should be your target. They did kind of land on that they can just backdoor either MJ or Matt if somebody comes off the block. But a lot has to go into that with only 3 people getting picked for veto. I will say also that well, let's talk about the 5, I guess, next. We have Chelsea, Cam, and Cedric today showing that they are close with each other. And they have wanted to bring in Brooklyn and Quinn into a 5-person alliance. Those 5 are also in the big 9-person alliance. And it's kind of like the whole Onion situation where you have the 9-person alliance, you have the 5-person alliance, and then the core of that would be Cam, Cedric, and Chelsea. I love that they're thinking with that. So far, I think my best read of the my assessment had some bad ones in the assessment this year. So far, anyway, it's early. But Cam being smooth, yeah, I see that. I think Cam staying level-headed, close to a lot of the girls right now is working in his favor, and I think that will continue to work in his favor. Also today, he walked in on a possible girls' alliance forming that MJ, aka Mackenzie, and Leah were kind of trying to form, and they told him to get out. It's a girls' thing, like that's not suspicious, and like Cam's not going to go talk with that about somebody. But Chelsea was also in that room with the girls' thing, so I'm sure Chelsea's just gonna go to Cam and tell him about it anyway. But none of that's going to last because The thing with MJ so far, even on the episode, she's talking about how she's gonna go after men. But so far on cams, all I've seen her talk shit about is the women, of course. That has been her MO right now. I have not heard her actually, truly trying to target a guy. So for her to be one of the main person gung ho about that girls' alliance was pretty laughable. Who else can we really talk about here? I guess we could go through the nominations first before talking a little bit about some of these other folks. Angela ended up nominating Kenny with Lisa and Chemo. Uh, Lisa and Chemo kind of pawns for Kenny being the target. I don't think neither Lisa nor Chemo took that well. I feel like Chemo is struggling to fit in so far, I suppose. He has a thing with T-Core for sure, which I like. Um, but outside of that, I don't feel like he has anything solid, which isn't the worst thing in Worst One, but it is a very bad thing when you're on the block. And then Lisa also did not take it very well. Kind of tried to make Angela feel bad about the nomination. I think we are now starting to see over these past couple hours since nominations that Lisa is as crazy as I thought she would be. She's trying to play it off with a mixture of tears and laughter, talking to the cameras about, hey, it's okay to cry, people are emotional. Yes, but the way she's going about it, I feel is a bit, it's a lot. It's a lot. I get she's just been nominated. She wants to go around the house and cry. She doesn't know where to go around the house and cry at. She's spiraling already, just a few hours after nominations, for sure. Lisa is spiraling, but at least she's not spiraling as bad as Matt and Mackenzie have been spiraling for since feeds turned on. Just sloppy gameplay from those two. Mackenzie does have one of those upgrade powers, though, so she could really do some damage this week if any of them can be used this week. I don't know what the deep fake HOH even means. If it's too late to already play that, I don't know. There was America's Veto. I don't know what that means yet. So a lot of info on the powers we don't truly know yet. Let's talk about Quinn, I guess, next. I talked my shit about him last night because I don't like the nerd archetype on Big Brother. I'm sick of it. However, I will give credit where credit is due. Quinn did, or at least talked about, one of my favorite things so far on the feeds that I've gotten to watch in calling the Big Alliance a voting block. And if more people thought like Quinn in that sense, I think that would be kind of game changing. We've seen it in Survivor at one point where it kind of became a game of voting blocks, and those few seasons where it became a game of voting blocks were very unpredictable, very fun to watch. Now, I don't think other people are going to jump on that voting block type of gameplay that Quinn was referencing and that Quinn was talking about, but it would be nice to see that happen. I think that is some smart game IQ from Quinn, so I'm going to give him credit for that. Also, Quinn, his social game, very good so far. He's getting pulled into many different alliances. They are talking about putting him in the main 5 alliance. Chelsea, Cam, and Cedric want Quinn and Brooklyn in that 5-person alliance. Quinn got pulled into the 9 at the last minute, and now he's already in the onion of the 5. So, he's doing something right socially. So, yeah, credit there. Tucker, kind of the opposite. Tucker seems to be going around not wanting to be in any alliance. He is, he was the person that wanted to walk into the house first to break the curse. Now he's the person who doesn't want to be pulled into an alliance yet. I respect it, honestly. This early in the game, like I talked about, seeing these week 1 feeds from the past couple seasons, the past few seasons, those big alliances don't last. They crumble new alliances form, and those usually crumble too, all within the first week or two. So I can't hate on Tucker doing that when it's actually kind of logical this early in the game, and he's clearly not one of the main targets, so it's not a bad idea. T-Core also not in any of the main alliances. I don't think that's from her trying, but she's a little on the outs as well. Clearly not as bad as Chemo, who was nominated as a pawn. At one point, Angela was talking about how some people wanted T-Core out of the game. I don't know who those people she was referencing are, but she was referencing how she doesn't want to do other people's dirty work for them. So that's why she does not want to nominate T-Core this round. I do think Mackenzie is one of those people going after T-Core for whatever reason, mostly because she's clearly only targeting women right now, even though she allegedly wants to form an all-girls alliance. Ugh. But T-Core, she has close connections. She's close to Chemo. I think Chelsea's trying to give her more and more info over the past few hours that I've seen. She's also been trying to get to know Tucker, which is the duo I want, and the duo I kind of alluded to in my pre-game little cast assessment. I do, for whatever reason, see that T-Core and Tucker could be this unlikely duo. And with them both kind of playing this under the radar game right now, although I don't know how under the radar Tucker is, he just doesn't want to be in an alliance. I think those two can be a very fun little duo to watch if they kind of form more on a game level and not just a personal level that they're kind of at right now. Rubina, not a lot to say. I think she is close to Angela, who's HOH. And I don't think Brooklyn likes her either, of course. From Brooklyn's perspective, I feel like Brooklyn feels that Rubina is very close to Angela. And I don't know how close they are. It's Chelsea who is close to Angela that no one's suspecting. That's about it for now. A lot going on. Tough to keep up with without us being able to go back on Archive and watch stuff I've missed. I missed some of the early morning stuff today, but got to caught up on a lot of stuff from at least clips and videos that I missed this morning. Saw a lot this afternoon, which is how I am enjoying watching Angela clock a lot as HOH. I think she's doing a good job so far. It's very early in her HOH reign, honestly, still, because it's kind of a long week for the first HOH. But so far, so good from Angela. Matt, a disappointment. I thought he was going to be one of my faves because of his social game. He's not necessarily not one of my faves. I like mess. And watching Matt be this paranoid player who just cannot shut up has been fascinating. You know, his advice to Lisa earlier was, hey, just go make more stronger alliances. But then, you know, Matt's going around making alliances and then telling everyone who's in his final twos, who's in his final threes. It's dumb, but so far it's not on my nerves yet. If he continues to be dumb for a week and he doesn't get eliminated this week or next week, he's gonna get on my nerves. Like that's gonna happen. For now, it's entertaining.